Good morning, everybody. Here we are again. I feel like I'm on a jet plane or a rocket ship. This whole auto industry, retail and wholesale, is on fire and on the way to Mars. I don't know. It's exciting, this show that started 20 years ago when it was night and day compared to the industry today. Of course, this is true for almost all industries. I think the whole world is in the... and give us a call. What we try to do here is prepare you for the very unpleasant experience, unfortunately, in most cases, of buying or leasing a car or repairing or maintaining your car. I was reading in automotive news just today, actually, that the independent mechanics now have a greater share of the market than the franchise dealers. This hasn't never happened before. If you've listened to the show for 20 years we've told you, if you can find a good independent mechanic, use him. You'll probably have a better experience. For most maintenance and repairs in your car, there's sometimes you have to go to the dealer, of course, but it was always they were always like the third party. You take it to an independent mechanic. Now they rule the roost, percentage-wise. More and more people are finding it more convenient, less money, and we have a mechanic in the room here. I hate to call him, it's kind of like a dirty word now because he's truly a computer technician.
Mechadroid.
His name is Rick Kearney, and I urge you to call the show if you have a question about the repair maintenance of your car. You probably do. One of my main criticisms of the manufacturers is, and the dealers, of course, is because they don't make it clear to you when you buy your car how complicated it can be. Now, don't get me wrong, they run better today. They run easier today. They're more fun to drive today than ever before, but they're also more complicated. So you might not have as many problems. When you do, it's a doozy. And it's hard sometimes to find, you know how it is when you go to the doctor and something hurts. The doctor says, where does it hurt? He says, well, it doesn't hurt now. And then it's very difficult for the doctor to diagnose something that's not occurring at the time. Same thing with a car. But you probably have an issue like that. If you do, his name is Rick Kearney. He's sitting to my right. And you can call the show. And that number is 877-960-9960. 877-960-9960. You know what I'm talking about. You've got a squeak, rattle, or roll. You got a unusual smell. Maybe there's something dripping in your garage or underneath your car. You're not sure what it is. Or maybe you're driving on the road and you hear a noise. You're not sure where it's coming from. It's awfully hard when you're driving the car to figure out where that noise is coming from. So if you go into a franchise car dealer, or for that matter, an independent mechanic, you're kind of at their mercy. They know the product and you don't. And it's like going to a doctor. Trust is the thing. When a doctor or a mechanic tells you what's wrong, diagnoses it, and what's going to cost, where are you? You're not going to argue with them because you're not trained in that particular field. So you want some free advice from an extremely knowledgeable person, you can either call Rick at 877-960-9960, or maybe better yet, he monitors our YouTube channel. That's Earl on Cars at, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, youtube.com/Earl on Cars, on Cars. So the YouTube channel, you can actually post something, an audio clip or a video clip, and you can ask him a question. If he can't get to it right away, he will over the 2 hours of the show. We're on, of course, from 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday until 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you got a long time to think about it and get some free diagnostic advice. Maybe a suggestion or estimate of what the cost may be, what your actions should be, so on and so forth. So we get most of our calls about buying cars and leasing cars. There's been a tremendous amount of activity lately by the Federal Trade Commission. Oh, by the way, I'm very excited that I got a call from the Federal Trade Commission. I missed a call, but attorneys from the Federal Trade Commission called yesterday.
That's great.
And they asked me if I'd be willing to talk to them about the problem they're having with car dealers. And of course, I said,
You called
"Are
the
you
right
kidding?"
man.
Yeah.
You got the right guy.
I gave my cell phone number, and I'm waiting for the call. So if you attorneys out there for the Federal Trade Commission want to hear the straight scoop from someone that's been there and done that. In fact, you probably could have put me in the slammer 20 years ago if you'd have caught some of the stuff I was doing. I've changed a lot, and now I'm a consumer advocate. So Federal Trade Commission, heads up, call the show. That'd be a killer, wouldn't it, to call the show, Federal Trade Commission? We could start naming names. I'm on too much of a roll here because I love what I do, and I talk too much. I know that. But I want to give out the numbers here, all of them, and then turn the mic over to Nancy Stewart, my co-host. I didn't give the text number out. The text number is 772-497-6530. We've got more channels to reach the show than you can shake a stick at. We have the text 772-497-6530. I've already mentioned youtube.com/Earl on Cars. And we have in a really interesting line that we love, our anonymous feedback line, and that's your, Y-O-U-R, anonymousfeedback.com, your anonymousfeedback.com. And the cool thing about that is you're totally anonymous. We don't know who you are, where you called from. We can't track you down. You have total privacy, and so you can speak your mind. If you think we're nuts, tell us so. If you have some suggestions, you have some questions, things you'd rather not go public with, or either way, your anonymousfeedback.com. So that's all the different ways. We're on Facebook. I almost forgot Facebook. Facebook.com/Earl on Cars. Stu monitors the text, which is 772-497-6530. And Rick Kearney, our auto expert from a technical standpoint, monitors youtube.com/Earl on Cars. And Nancy Stewart, my co-host, co-founder of the show, by the way, 20 years ago, she's the phone expert. And we actually love the phones best because of the personality. I mean, a personality comes through with the audio, and when you're live, personal, talking back and forth, it's really cool. So we'd love to have you call us at 877-960-9960 because we only have 5 incoming lines. We prioritize that 877-960-9960. We also prioritize women because Nancy Stewart has been a female advocate on the show and built single-handedly, I give her all the credit for building the number of female callers we've up to parity. We now have about 50-50 on male versus female callers. And she has a special offer that'll knock your socks off. You're not going to believe it. It's going to be too good to be true, but a very special offer, and you have my solemn sacred word, it is not a bogus thing. The offer for ladies calling the show for the first time is something that will really get your attention. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Nancy, and she will explain that to you right now.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Earl on Cars. Here we are again, and you're an important part of the show. We enjoy your company. You make the show. Give us a call toll-free at 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. And don't forget to take advantage of your anonymousfeedback.com. You know, Earl opened with talking about mechanics, grease monkeys, computer scientists. I wonder how many computer scientists could live up to that reputation. And, I have to share some facts with you. And that is that the Automotive Service Excellence, that's the ASE, this society was formed 53 years ago. And you know what sets these computer scientists apart from the grease monkey or the mechanic, as some call them, is the fact that they never stop attending school. They go for training. And as I said, sets them apart. So if you have any questions concerning your vehicle, Rick definitely is here, and he will help you with the answers. Also, we have a great mystery shopping report from Bev Smith Kia in Fort Pierce. You remember that we were at Fort Pierce Sunrise Ford in Fort Pierce. I'll mention, too, for the ladies that, I thank you so much for supporting, and being there for all of us, especially me. And you've played an instrumental part in getting us where we are today. For that, you could win yourself $50 today for the first 2 new lady callers. That's $50. You can call, give us some advice, or you can share maybe your experience in purchasing a vehicle, or maybe having your vehicle serviced. We're going to go straight to the phones, and we are going to talk to Kendall. Thank you for your patience from Boynton Beach. Good morning, Kendall.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today?
Great.
Good.
I have a question for Rick. I have a 2019 Subaru Forester, 72,000 miles on it. I change oil every 6,000 with Mobil 1, but I have never changed my transmission fluid. It's running fine, and I'm a believer, don't change something if it's not working right. So what is your opinion on that?
I would check your owner's manual, and if it does not recommend, if the owner's manual says change the fluid at X interval, I would follow that. If it does not, if it says leave it be, I would leave it be. Subaru has made, they are the quiet heroes. You don't hear about them anymore. They're the quiet, unsung car dealer, and yet their quality is top notch, and they are a fantastic car. I wouldn't mess with it.
Okay, I'll take a look at the manual, and because I'm driving right now in my 2024 Subaru Outback, and I love these cars. They're great. So
My friend just got one. He got to use one down in Broward County. No, he loves it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I thank you very much. I'm glad I got through a couple weeks ago. I tried to get through, but I'm on my way to work. And
You got to start early, I think.
Yeah, I did. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
Well, call us again, please.
Yeah, Kendall, thanks for giving us a second chance.
As long as we still got you on the line, I just Googled that, and for Forester transmission fluid change, it says for older cars about 30,000 miles, and for newer vehicles about 100,000 miles. So,
Okay.
So that gives you a rule of thumb there. But as Rick says, check the owner's manual. But you're good to go.
I like your attitude,
Thank you.
Kendall. You said if it's not broken, you know how the saying
Don't mess
goes.
with it.
Thanks for listening.
All right, gang. Take care of yourselves. Happy holidays.
You too. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays. 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. We're going to go back to the recovering car dealer.
Well, I'm going to just check with Rick and check with Stu and see if we have any text. I know we have some anonymous feedbacks. Got a couple interesting ones, so maybe Stu wants to start out with those.
Well, excuse me,
yeah,
Stu. We're
phone
going to
call.
go right back to the phones. Our intentions are to, let you guys just hold. So please take that into consideration. We'll take your calls I'll take your call as soon as I can. 877-960-9960. Welcome, John. Good morning. Good morning, John.
Oh, good morning. All right, great.
Welcome.
Thanks. I want to start off with, in the past, Rich talked about the air conditioner in the car, and like when you're driving, and to keep it from getting that musty smell, you turn the car off. You turn the AC off before you get to your destination. It helps or you open up the outer vent,
Yeah.
or the. How does that work again?
The best thing you can do is if you're starting to have that issue, when you're say about a half mile from home, you hit the button that says AC, but leave the blower fan running so it's still blowing air across it, and then open up the recirculate so you're getting the outside fresh air coming in. That fresh air will be blown across the evaporator and hopefully knock a lot of the moisture off of it.
What if it's raining outside?
Yeah, then you might want to consider leaving it recirculate, but what you're trying to do is get a little bit drier air across that evaporator to get rid of some of the excess moisture on it and let it blow off of there. And that way it will reduce the moisture that can, cause mold and mildew to build up. And leaving it open to fresh air when you shut the car down will let air circulate, and that way it's less likely to, just sit and
Rick,
grow.
tell John how you feel about damp rid.
One of my favorite products is, you always hear people, oh, my cell phone fell in the water, and people are like, put it in rice. No, rice is horrible. You go to Home Depot, Walgreens, any place, and get a simple thing of damp rid. Put damp rid in your car. That you could buy it in a bag that you can put under the seat even.
I learned something. Oh, you can buy it in a bag, you put it under the seat?
Right under
see,
the
I
seat,
put the little bucket thing because I was thinking,
Nah, that's
oh,
old-fashioned.
listen to this. I left all the windows, sunroof on the car. It rained in there. And then I just saw Nancy's face, a vision of Nancy going, damp rid.
Yeah.
And so I went to Walgreens and I got a thing, but I got the bucket and it was great. Completely
Excellent.
worked, except for it fell over and spilled. Now
I
there's
was
this.
just going to ask you what happened.
Yeah, it spilled, and I got this. It still looks like it's wet in the back of my all-weather mats, but it smells really good.
Yes. Yeah.
Damp rid it'll just suck the moisture out of the air, and of course all that moisture that got down in the carpet and in the padding underneath, it will absorb every bit of that out of there.
It got out of my seats.
And John,
John, the bottom line is that everybody's got a great solution for curing the musty smell in your car air conditioner. And if you want to really have fun, Google musty smell in my car AC, and you'll see 8,200,000 ways to stop it.
It was a big issue.
It's
now,
a common problem.
When did they start doing the? They made a change to the air conditioning where it starts off blowing down before it hits the face vent, so it's blowing the stinky smell at your feet first. Is that the idea?
About 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
Yep.
And John, if you're sensitive to, odors, you can get the damp rid just straight up rather than the lavender that they sell in the bags. Hope we helped you.
The reason why I called was I was reading this week and found out that Tesla has gone ahead and made that whole situation easier for the owner. If you take and put your destination in on the computer, no matter where you're driving, the onboard computer and everything calculates that and automatically does all those steps for you for the evaporators and that. But you have to have a set destination in of where you're going.
Oh, okay.
And it goes ahead and it cleans it all out for you before you get there.
Interesting. We love our callers.
They're thinking ahead.
Computers can do anything.
But my question is, do regular ice cars that have destinations, do they do the same thing as well? As far as you put your destination in.
No,
and it calculates what you're doing,
I don't know of any cars that hooks the navigation to the AC system to prevent that problem from happening. I bet you that they probably could. I mean, the cars are probably the infrastructure's there, but only Tesla thought to do that.
Okay, and then my last question is: last week I brought up the Cybertruck calculator to find out where you're at in line. Did you guys ever find out where Earl is?
Did you look?
No, I keep looking every day. Their first deliveries were last week. I think they delivered, a few. I am getting solicitations now because I have my Cybertruck on order. They're going to give me $3,000 if I buy an X or a Y. So they're.
John, I'm gonna pull this up and I'm gonna get his order number.
Well, see, mine, they're only giving me $1,000 if I buy a Y. So I'm wondering how far down I wonder if depending on where you're at in line, if they offer you more.
Give me your phone. I'm going to figure this
Okay.
out. You got to unlock it for me.
So yeah, it's I'm glad to see that you got one on order because if you I'm sure you've done the research, and even if you think it's ugly, and a lot of people think it's ugly, if you've done your research. It's a quantum leap in technology over even the Tesla Plaid. They have really, really packed a lot of incredible new technology because they kind of been working on it for a long time because they were supposed to introduce it 2 years ago. So I think it's being tweaked so much that it's going to be a really state-of-the-art car when it finally comes out.
Yeah, and it's getting a lot of press, John. It's getting a whole lot of press, so that's a good sign. And Elon Musk is delivering on his promise, that's for sure. And the science fiction-inspired Cybertruck, it's come to life despite all the negative stuff.
Well, on the website, you can order the truck, and I was at Tesla Service Center yesterday, and they're showing that it's like only there's a wait. But it's misleading, and they're saying that when you put your truck in, it says like 2-year wait, but it's going to be longer than that because, like I said, I'm number 2,850,000 in line, and they're showing me that I've got like a 3-year wait. So I don't know how.
Yeah.
I probably do too. Yeah,
It's
anyway,
interesting,
I'm
John.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
The facts will keep changing.
Yep.
I thank you for the call.
Yep.
We all do. We have a whole lot of calls holding. Have a
Very
great
good.
weekend.
Bye.
Okay, we're going to go to Pompano Beach, I believe it is, and we're going to talk to Ellen. Good morning, Ellen.
Hi. I've already called once before, and you were very helpful when I bought my new car with Al Hendrickson. Anyway, what was said this morning I related to, and I've always wondered. I had a 2008 Toyota Solara convertible with like 48,000 miles on it, and I loved that car. And all of a sudden, it was like surging or slowing down, but it didn't happen all the time like you had talked about this morning. And so I brought it into a few mechanics, and they all said, well, when it happens, bring it back in. And, of course, it was very hard to do that. And then I finally went to a Toyota dealer, figuring, well, they have to know. And I paid for the diagnostic and everything, and they wound up returning my money. They said, we don't know what's wrong with it. Just keep driving it, and, well, maybe whatever, it'll probably break down. And that's what happened. Luckily, it was where I lived, and it didn't turn over one day. But this had gone on for like 4 or 5 months, because I could go weeks where everything was good.
Interesting.
And, so, maybe this will help somebody else, but also my choice.
Yeah.
What could I have done differently?
Yeah.
'Cause
Thanks for calling back on that issue. Rick, what do you think?
Also, I just want to add one thing. Also, when it did break down and I brought it in, they wanted $7,000 to fix it, which I thought, I wasn't going to do that, and I bought the new car. Anyway, okay.
What did they say was wrong with it?
It was, a big part of the money was computers. That was about maybe 2/3 of the 7,000. And then it was, then it was something with the fuel, maybe. I forgot, I'm sorry. But it was just, I just thought it was just odd that, that nobody could figure it out unless, it was happening.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of times when a car comes in and the problem isn't occurring, it can be something really hard to find because, as silly as it sounds, a simple wire rubbing against a bit of metal and wearing in, if it's not touching at that exact moment, there's no problem. And then when it just suddenly catches the right moment, that the wire will rub against that spot again, that's when the problem occurs. And sometimes it takes a while just to get to track down what's causing that problem. So, the nice part is that nobody was willing to, shall we say, rake you over the coals and take your money and say, oh, yeah, we solved something and never fix anything.
Right. because I was afraid of that. So I appreciated the honesty, especially of the Toyota dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the AC, if I put the AC on, it totally shut down the car.
Yeah, because that makes sense, because when you turn the AC on, that compressor coming on puts a big drain on the engine. So if it's fuel related, yeah, that could shut it down.
Wow. So I guess there really was nothing more I could do then, right? Like what they said. But unfortunately, if it had been a reasonable amount, I would have fixed it. It just, it just didn't seem, worth it to put it in that age car. But
Yeah.
I just feel bad every time I see a Solera, convertible around. I said, well, they're still alive and shipping,
they're getting rarer and rarer.
That's a beautiful car, Ellen. It really is a beautiful car. One of my favorites. Unfortunately, they quit making them. But I wish we could give you more answers. I have a question for you. When you have taken your Solera into the dealership to be serviced, did you ask the mechanic whether he was ASE?
Well, I always see the signs and everything.
Oh, great. Okay, good. That's a great sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, stay in touch, Ellen, and good luck. And I hope your search, is successful.
Well, I have a new car now, so.
That's good.
And thanks to you to helping me with the the cost and everything.
That's the silver lining.
Great. Ellen, have a great weekend, and thank you for calling us back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. And we're going to stay with the phones, and we are going to talk to Howard. I believe he's up next. Good morning, Howard.
Good morning. Hope you're all doing well. Happy holidays to you all.
Happy holidays.
Okay. I just got a 18email about the Toyota prepaid maintenance. Earl, do you think it's worthwhile doing that, prepaying for maintenance from Toyota? Any other, car deal I wouldn't even bother with, but with Toyota, I know Toyota's is honest.
Yeah, I mean,
I would consider
depends.
The answer is it's easy for you to calculate. It depends on the dealer and what he charged for maintenance. So you simply look at your owner's manual, see what the maintenance required, ask the dealer, what do you charge for this? And then you look at the prepaid maintenance and see how much you pay for that. So it's a simple matter of arithmetic, and in 5 minutes you can answer it for yourself. But some dealers charge more and some dealers charge less. And the only thing you should be paying for is the factory recommended maintenance. I would say, off the top of my head, it does not pay for the prepaid maintenance. The maintenance today, on particularly the newer on a new vehicle, when you buy today, is nominal. I mean, yeah, you can almost.
And you also get usually. Some manufacturers offer, like BMW, Toyota offers free maintenance for the first couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't recommend extended warranties either, and we don't recommend prepaid maintenance except for special circumstances. And there are exceptions to the rules.
And where you're buying it from.
But the rule of thumb is don't do it. Yeah, just the dealer sold prepaid maintenance is definitely not worth it because. They find, first of all, people don't have their maintenance done, so they prepay for the maintenance, and they don't even come and have it done. So the dealer pockets all that prepaid maintenance money you gave them up front 3-4 years ago. That's where they make most of their money.
Okay, my next question is, when I drive the car, should I leave the air on in recirculation or fresh air?
Depends on how it smells outside. If you're driving by the dump, you want to put it on recirculate. If it's a nice day out, put it on fresh. Really, Rig, what's the reason? Is it just a personal preference? Is it just is it for that reason? If there's a bad smell outside or smoke or something, you can
Pretty much
kind of seal yourself up a little bit.
The fresh air is to help you get rid of that stuffy air inside.
Okay.
Clean things up a bit.
Yeah, you can do that with the windows too.
Yeah, but the air conditioner works better when
Yes.
it's on recirculate,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, it gets colder faster and stays colder, and it uses less. The air conditioner has to work less to do that when you're when it's on.
Plus,
Okay,
if
my
it's
last
raining
comment.
outside, fresh air you'll get less condensation on the inside of your windshield.
Exactly. What's your next question, Howard? And we have,
the last
and then
one,
we're going to
last
have to
one.
go.
Okay, last one. Manuals. A lot of people don't realize that their car is automatic and manual, and people just don't realize that. Now, a question for Rick. When would you use the manual mode on a car that has both modes?
If you were in the mountains, you're coming down the side of the mountain, shift into a lower gear so that you use engine braking to slow the car, and you're not using up your brakes.
If you're in a hybrid, that's going to do it for you. You're probably in a mountain, right? Or no, there's the B.
You have B mode, which
that's
is
right.
engine braking.
That's right.
Here's what
Okay,
Google,
Howard.
Here's what Google has to say, Howard. It's best to use the recirculation mode during the warmer months while you're using air conditioning because your vehicle won't have to cool down.
You're going to train people not to call the show anymore.
Well, I got to train
Howard, I
myself. There's
Let,
no-
let me say goodbye because I know you guys are backed up. Bye.
Thank you, Howard.
Hi, Howard.
We tapped into warranties on this call, and I have to mention this past Monday, Earl's column was just that, all about warranty. And I'll tell you what, it's definitely worth going to Earl on Cars and reading all about warranties.
extended warranties, actually, don't regular warranties.
We're good.
Identify extended car warranty scams is the title of it.
So go to Earl on Cars, and you can read all about it, or you can go to if you picked up the Hometown News, you'll notice that that column is there, and also in the Florida Weekly. We're going to go to I think Warren's up next. Good morning, Warren. Warren's calling us from Jersey.
Hey guys, how are you?
Hey.
It's been a long time. Anyway, I just wanted to, happy holidays and all of that. And I just wanted to tell you, I bought a new car, actually, at least a new car on Black Friday. But I used a lot of information that you give on the show in dealing with getting the car.
Great.
And plus the fact I went with somebody who knew the owner of the dealership.
That helps.
And all these things, and that helps. And, and I think the most important thing is always to go with somebody. When you go with somebody, you don't have to take in every bit of information. The person with you always can help you. And I think that's so important.
Yeah.
You're going to spend $40,000 for a car, and you have the person next to you getting some of the information. And, and I know you've gone over this a million times about leasing and buying. I leased the car. I had $10,000 put away that said if I wanted to put down on it. But when I went over the numbers and everything, if I put the $10,000 down, I wouldn't even gotten close to the monthly payment I was paying on the lease. Plus the fact that I was getting 5% in a fund. So I said I'll have $12,000 in 3 years instead of $10,000. I know that works for me. I know leasing doesn't work for everybody, but I just thought I'd tell you that, and I thought that was an interesting point why I leased the car.
Well, that's very interesting, and you did your homework and you did the calculation. I've never understood why people put huge down payments down on cars unless they have to. If they have a good investment advisor or they're good investors themselves, you can always get a better investment, a better return than what you're going to get by putting into a car, which is a depreciating asset. Nothing depreciates much faster than the average car. So keep your money, and if you can get a good interest rate, which is tough today, go ahead and invest that money.
Well, let me give a shout out to the person who knew the sales manager and the owner, and he happened to be my daughter's father-in-law, and he knows them very well. So anyway, when I saw the car, it was a Chevy Equinox, it was Pellegrino Chevrolet in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I don't know if that's the exact town. I live in northern New Jersey, which is 90 miles away. Mm-hmm. Anyway, he said to me, I'm going to give you the figures for a buy and a lease. And he said, these are the figures. He says, I'm giving you the best possible deal, and there's nothing to negotiate because I know Eric, who's my daughter's father-in-law, and he said, we're going to do it this way. So he gave me all the figures, and he said, I'm giving you the car at cost. And he said, I'm not altruistic. He was right up front. He says, I'm going to make money because I'm going to meet my quota, I'm going to make money on the interest rate, and I'm going to make money on the gap insurance. So he says, this is how I'm making my money on the car, but I can give it to you at cost. And he said he offered to show me. But I said, fine, I believe you. He worked out the numbers. But I just wanted to let people know that, your help, too. And over the years, leasing and buying cars really helped me, and taking somebody with me also really helped me.
Warren, you hit on a lot of great points. Major is what you said, take someone with you. We really appreciate your call. You have educated our listeners, everyone on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for that. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.
Okay, we are going to go to Jersey Mike. Good morning. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, this is Jersey Mike calling.
How you doing?
I'm doing real well. I want to say something about Big Dog Ranch. I went out there and I adopted a dog. And I didn't use your incentive. Because I'm a veteran, Vietnam era,
Right.
I got 50% off. And I don't know if people know that. If they're veterans and you go out there, they do a wonderful job. I donated $1,000 to Evan Nader out there, who runs the VA center. There's a small
Thank
building
you
there
very
where
much
he's
for
located.
that. Thank you.
And I'll tell you, they do a great thing out there. They really do. And I adopted this dog from my roommate. But let's get to cars, okay?
Okay.
I got a car. I think you remember me talking about this, Earl, from you. It was a 2018 Kia. And I'll tell you what, I never had a problem with that car. I put 32,000 miles on it. If you remember that, I mean, you gave me the Carfax. It was straightforward. Everything worked out perfect.
That's great.
I bought a 2016 Cadillac AST from Napleton. And then...
Boy, you're a brave guy.
No, well, I didn't know. And the stupid thing, and I want to advise your listeners to do this. Make sure if you're going to get a car off of a dealer, that you take it to your own ASE mechanic, whoever that might be, and have them go through it thoroughly before you buy it. Because if you don't do that, you're making a big, big mistake. Like it cost me a lot of money getting that car out of Napleton. First of all, what would happen is the heating systems wouldn't work, and then it would just overheat. It was like weird, and then I'd get hot air out of one blower and cold air out of the other one when it got warmer in the spring and summer. I've had this thing for 2 years. I still have it, unfortunately, but I'm going to unload it. However, I had to replace the whole cooling system in the car. That's how bad it was. But you know what I don't understand, and maybe you can tell me about this? Why is it that what looks like leather is not, and it just cracks and falls off on the seats? What is that?
Well, simulated leather can be a good product or a lousy product. It sounds like you got a lousy one. The newer cars with the simulated leather, the leather in a lot of ways is superior leather. Stop and think about it. Leather is just the hide off of a cow, and when you take the hide off a cow and you put it on a car, it's in an unnatural environment. But they have softer, even smells the same, feels the same, maybe better. And it actually is superior. So, it used to be the day that genuine leather was something to really, really seek. I personally would always choose a good simulated leather over real leather.
Well, all my past Cadillacs had real leather, okay? And so, I had never had a problem with that. I went through a whole lot of those Cadillacs in '75 because I'd put about 70,000 miles every year on it, and about 3 years later, I have to go get another one, okay? Right. But today, this one that I have here, there's nothing left of the seating area in the back of the car. It just fell off, and I couldn't put. I tried to glue it back on with crazy glue. Yeah, it would stay, but then it would. Then that would even crack and fall off. It's like crazy. Can you give me an explanation why that might be?
Well, you had the Napleton experience completely. It sounds like.
Oh my goodness!
You paid for it.
Yeah, Jersey Mike. I'm going to interrupt you for a second and ask you. I thought it was telling when you mentioned one word, you wondered, and everyone sitting here will agree, and everyone that's listening is wondering, why is Napleton still in business? I really hope you went in with your bulletproof vest. And I'm sorry for your experience and all the problems.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's a bad. I mean, and you know, you have this your person who goes out and checks out dealers. Well, I went ahead and went up north because you suggested don't buy a car in South Florida. Well, I'm going up there and I'm buying an Escalade up there, and it's up near New Smyrna. And
Great.
at least, yeah. And I was even thinking about going to Georgia because Georgia's got a better sales.
Further
I got
north, you
family in
go,
Georgia,
there you are.
know?
We have a whole list. And
don't rule out Canada.
When you get to
Jersey-
the North Pole, Santa Claus gives you a car.
Jersey Mike, you do that. You do that mystery shop for us and get back with us. We really
I will.
appreciate your
I
call.
will definitely.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, you too.
We have to
a great
run.
holiday. Thank you.
Thank you. 877-960-9960. And you can text us at 772-497-6530. And remember, Jersey Mike mentioned Big Dog Ranch. Today we have no video, and they're very busy out there. They have a huge event. And I do have to mention at this time of the year, you know, what a great time to adopt a dog. And you can go to Big Dog Ranch. That's www.bdrr.org. You can go there and you can look at all the dogs. And it might, you know, encourage you to go out there because it is an event out there. And it's very interesting how they take, you know, care of their dogs, and I can't say enough. So www.bdrr.org. We are going to go to Lance, who's been holding our regular caller from Tennessee. Good morning, Lance.
Good morning, Earl.
Hey, Lance.
Well,
Got a song for me?
That fella called in about seating. You know, we've got a new innovation about seating materials up here.
Mm-hmm. What's that?
We've done away with leather and fake leather, and we're strictly sitting on squirrel pelts now.
How many squirrels does it take to do like a SUV?
It's a ton of squirrel, but just think of what good eating you have after you get the pelts off.
Hey, Lance.
Yeah.
I heard there was a company up near you that was doing genuine porcupine quill seat covers. Can you get me a line on a set of those?
I can feel what you're saying now.
I feel your pain.
You got the point of that one, huh?
Ooh.
Yes, I did. Well put. Well, Earl, I couldn't let the day pass without a little quick tune.
All right.
Well, it's almost Christmas Day. Earl, Nancy, Rick, and Sue have got a whole lot to say. And just remember, wherever you go, make sure you do not miss the Earl Stewart on Cars radio show.
I like that.
Now, we need to get a snippet of that, and we can use it and just put it in for the commercial.
You should just go around do Christmas caroling
Some audio,
and knocking your neighbor's
audio
doors and
clips.
sing that.
I'd love to have those audio clips.
Lance, it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Have a good week.
You too, Lance.
Have a great weekend. 877-960-9960. Or you can text us at 772-497-6530. I really hope that we get some response on youranonymousfeedback.com. We're going to stay with the phones, and we are going to go to Jolene, and she's calling us from Fort Lauderdale. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm not sure if I'm having some problems with my Nissan Altima 2015. I just discovered that I need a new transmission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that I headed into the auto repair yesterday, and he said, you know, you can keep driving it. He goes, you can probably drive it for a long time. So I'm just wondering if that is the case. It's sort of chugging, but when I'm on the highway, it doesn't have that problem.
Describe the symptoms to Rick Kearney here, and he can probably give you something specific.
Okay.
Chugga.
Well, there's been times where I started out, and then I took my foot off the gas, and it would go to like 30 miles an hour without even having my foot on the gas. And then now it's like chugging, sort of, not you know, like it's like it's going to stall, like it's going to stall. Yes.
Yeah. their CVTs have had some issues in the past.
What's a CVT?
A CVT is a continuously variable transmission versus the old school transmissions that had first, second, third, fourth gears. Now they're using a lot of what's called these CVT, continuously variable transmission, and unfortunately, Nissan really put a lot of effort into them in the early teens, and they did get a few of them had some problems. So, yeah, for the cost of the car for a 15 Nissan, I would almost consider it worthwhile to put a remanufactured transmission in it, because it would be less expensive than trying to get into a brand new car right now.
Well, didn't she say? Didn't the technician say you could continue to drive it?
I can continue to drive it like that, but I drive up to West Palm on the weekends. Usually I take 95. I don't really,
Right. Yeah, I would just be concerned about that, because, I mean, if it were to break down and quit on you, it's going to leave you stuck by the side of the road, and let's be honest, it's not going to do that on a bright, sunny, cool, comfortable day.
Yeah, it's going to be the worst possible.
When you've got great cell service.
Here's what I would recommend: take it to another dealer and get a second or a third opinion.
Yeah.
Because I would hate to see you put a used transmission in the car if a technician told you could continue to drive it. If he's wrong, then you definitely should look at a rebuilt or used transmission. But let's get a second or third opinion. There may be something that could be tweaked and fixed not too expensively.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation too. What Earl just said. And what year is your car?
It's 2015. I mean, I'm just not in the. I'm not able to buy a brand new car right now.
Yeah.
So. But a transmission, I've heard, costs like $6,000. I'm not sure what a rebuilt one would be. And
also let me say this, that the CVT transmission, they're supposed to last, quite a while, at least more than 5 years. That was a good choice on your part. But I just can't say it enough that you need to go and get 3 different opinions and prices.
This guy is pretty honest. I was referred by my neighbor. He's known him for like 30-some years. They've been there, and
fabulous.
Yeah. I feel pretty confident. In explaining to other people, that sounded like the transmission. There was another guy that drove it.
Here's something I just Googled. Nissan extended the warranty on their CVT transmission to 7 years or 84,000 miles. So you're really not too far out of warranty on the extended warranty. I think it would also be worth a phone call to Nissan. And if you get a Nissan dealer that'll go to bat for you, there's a remote chance you might get some goodwill or some assistance on that transmission. It's an acknowledged issue. Nissan has confessed they built a bad transmission, and they've extended the warranty. So go to another dealer and then contact the manufacturer and see if they will give you some help if you have to do something.
It's got 119,000 miles on it. Does that make a difference?
You're over the extension, but the fact that they extended it to 7 years and 84,000 miles. We've had situations with Toyota, we're a Toyota dealer, where Toyota will stretch. Once they say, we messed up, it's a bad design, we made a mistake, they always put a limit on it, but they will move past the limit if you contact them directly. If you're a good customer, if they know that you're maintaining your car, it's worth a try.
Okay. All right, I'll try it.
Thanks for calling us. Stay in touch, Joe. Let us know how it turned out.
All right.
This is amazing, isn't it? You heard this information from Earl Stewart, and boy, does he have a lot to say, and most of it is priceless. Our number is 877-960-9960, or you can text us at 772-497-6530. Now I'm going to switch it over to Stu and
really
Rick, and I'm going to take a break.
This is important, and Anne-Marie prompted it. I'm not going to have the time to read the whole text. So I'm just going to say, She has reported on the Federal Trade Commission's rulemaking on the rule on unfair and deceptive practices, on the junk fees, and all the stuff we've been talking about. There are still public comments until January 8th, 2024 for these rulemaking. The FTC is publishing, and I don't know if Anne-Marie caught this, but they are publishing updates on the comments and where it's going with the rulemaking. So right now, as of December 9th, 2023, there are 1.56 thousand comments, about 1,500 comments. So this report is as of November 9th. And as of November 9th, I'm scrolling through this thing, and they get down to transportation fees. They cover live ticket events, airline fees, restaurant fees. Now, when they get to transportation fees, this is very disheartening. It says, industry comments related to auto sales, including ancillary goods and services. Don't be Googling, Dad. You got to listen to this. Ancillary goods services did not support a rulemaking.
Repeat that.
Did not support a rulemaking. These comments stated that the definition of junk fees is too vague and question whether fees that are not mandatory because they relate to voluntary ancillary products offered as a part of the auto sales transactions would be covered by the definition of junk fees. The comment stated the fees for ancillary goods and services provide value to consumers. So what this means is the car dealers and lobbies are having a campaign to leave comments.
Bingo.
What I'm saying is we have 1 month to have 1,500 comments to overwhelm the car dealer fees and say, no, these are not vague. It's very clear. I got ripped off. These are terrible. These need to be included in the rulemaking, because right now it's not going that way. And I had a feeling.
I have to check. We have to check the Florida Automobile Dealers Association. Stu, would you do that? I don't mean right now. I'm saying I think you hit it on the head. I think that the dealers are covertly lobbying the Federal Trade Commission by asking their dealers. I think that the dealer associations are asking their dealers to write letters. They do this all the time to congressmen and senators and people in power to write letters, and that's what they're doing to the Federal Trade Commission.
You all need to do it.
Yeah.
It says right here, the commenters, in other words, car dealers, stated this total cost often varies in negotiated sales transactions, and there's no clear reason why the disclosure of fees later in purchasing transactions should be deemed categorically deceptive, because
that did not come from a car owner. This car consumer. Here,
another one. They said the problem is they overlap with state already existing regulations, and therefore it's going to be confusing and so they're winning right now, folks. You got to make comments.
Anne-Marie, if you're listening, I mentioned this when we started the show. I'm reading from my smartphone mail. This is an email from Federal Trade Commission to me personally. The subject is conversation about auto purchase financing issues. Hello, Mr. Stewart, and Mr. Stewart sent my son Josh and to me. My name is Lisa Rothfarb. My colleague Sally Tieu, and I are attorneys at the Federal Trade Commission, and we work on auto financing issues. Would you be willing and have time to speak with us about your experience in the industry? Sincerely, Lisa. And I answered her back and said that I would be delighted and gave her my personal cell phone number. This was just Friday, so afternoon that I responded. So I expect a call. We will probably speak on Monday. I think they probably are reacting to some extent on the comments, because Stu hit it on the head that these comments that are, and Anne-Marie hit it on the head, that these comments are not legitimate. So the Federal Trade Commission, that's very encouraging to think they would call someone like me directly, because they know I'm going to tell them the truth as I see it. I might not be right, but they know I'm telling the truth. Anyone who listens to this show knows we speak the truth, even if it's going to get us in trouble sometimes. But we haven't been sued yet. Knock on wood.
Here's how you get there, folks. Please go. You basically go to www.regulations.gov, and then there's a box showing Federal Trade Commission trade regulation rule on unfair or deceptive fees. And then it's going to bring up the rule, and there's a place where you can comment. So comment on there and tell the truth about the fees. It is deceptive. It does cause people to spend money that they didn't anticipate to spend. It's bait and switch. It's all of that. Come down on them hard.
Stu, what is the website that they can go to again?
Yes, please go to www.regulations.gov.
That's www.regulations.gov.
That's right.
Let's put that up on Earl and Carr's website, too.
We'll put it up there in the very top. As soon as you get there, it'll be on the top of the page.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll have a link directly to the rule. That way you can click on it, because that way you don't have to click around and find things. You'll just go directly to it, read it, and find the comment section.
Yeah, absolutely. Before Stu continues, I want to remind the ladies, we've had female callers this morning, but I'm looking for some new callers, female callers. So give us a call. You can win yourself $50 this morning for your part. Excuse me. So first two new lady callers, $50. Now back to Stu.
Okay, so thank you, Anne-Marie. And I will get back to it, to reading your full text later. I'm sorry for hijacking that and and taking over, but it was amazing. We have a texter from Ohio, and he sent us a picture, and I thought was interesting. Jonathan has a picture of the addendum. We were saying how the farther north you go, the more likely you're going to get a better deal or not run these tactics. But in Brunswick, Ohio, which I think is in the Akron area, and I recognized it because it's from a 330 area code, and I have a friend who lives in Akron. Brunswick, Ohio, they have a $2,197 addendum on it. And if you read it's at a Ford dealership up there, it has Ford bedliner on it, wheel liners, surface care, and then an OEM windshield for $699 that you get. There's a little explanation. He did text the dealership and asked them about that. And they said, to answer your question about the add-ons, we offer windshield care for $699, which is coverage for your windshield in the instance it's damaged due to chips or cracks. You will receive a brand new OEM windshield and recalibrations to cameras and sensors. And so at least they gave him the breakdown, but that was from Brunswick, Ohio.
Of course, chips and cracks are covered with your comprehensive insurance, so it's a total waste of money.
Unless he's onto something with the OEM stuff and maybe the who does those the mobile windshield repairs if they're doing aftermarket windshields. Safelite. Okay, over to anonymous feedback. Wow, it's like the stars are aligning. Here's a question about OEM parts. Why would our leaders allow OEM part imports that are not up to USA standards? Seems to me that many politicians are allowing USA companies to be fraudulent.
Well, they are, and they allow a lot of things that are wrong, even illegal, because of lobbying. I mean, let's face it, we live in the greatest country in the world. We have a democracy, and we have politicians that know how to manipulate and get reelected. And but it works. We're not perfect, but we're much better than anyone else. But yeah, how do you get elected? You tell the potential voters what they want to hear, and how do you tell them? You have to have money. You have to be financed. Where do you get the money? You get the money from the manufacturers, the retailers, the people that make the money have the money. They give it to the politicians, and then the politicians will tell the voting people what they want to hear. So that's the United States of America, and that's why you can get away with. That's why the Federal Trade Commission is having a problem enforcing the laws we already have on the books.
Okay. Another anonymous feedback says, Carfax had an accident on my car. I gave them all the evidence that my car was never in an accident, and they refused to take it off. They are a scam.
Without knowing the details, I know Carfax will rectify a report.
Yeah.
But they also have to be very careful about rectifying reports because they need to be sure you're not an unscrupulous used car dealer that's trying to get a clean Carfax so it can sell a car that has been wrecked as not being wrecked. So I would suggest you recontact Carfax and ask what you need to authenticate.
Yeah, I'd want to know Why does Carfax think you have an accident? Was there a police report?
Yeah.
What was the agency?
And I would
Contact the
do it in
police
writing
department.
too.
Yeah.
But you do it in writing because Carfax is obligated. They're a good company. They provide a great service.
Yeah, not a
but
scam.
they have to be careful what they listen to when you call them on the phone.
Not a scam. Okay, more anonymous feedback. Australia is concerned that multi-level parking garages will not be able to handle the increased weight of electric cars.
Yeah.
Since construction has been a favorite... Wait, we have a parking garage.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, that's exactly. An electric vehicle weighs about a third more than a combustion engine vehicle.
We'll be all right.
Oh yeah,
We'll be fine.
yeah.
We'll be fine.
Okay.
It will not be able to handle electric cars since construction has been a favorite business of people you don't want to meet in a dark alley. Who knows if the parking garages were built to code? Well, I can tell you ours was.
Well,
I was involved in that.
I could tell you that is an amazing observation. It really has to be looked at by everybody. And who doesn't have a multi-level garage now? And they're all over the world.
Right.
And the fact that the electric vehicles, you're going to be looking at the tumbling down of garages.
That's very scary.
Very much so.
That's a lot of concrete.
We're going to go back to the phones, and we're going to talk to John. And he's a regular caller. He calls us from Palm City. Welcome, John.
Good morning to everyone. I have a question. We asked on this show about the replacement for the auto websites. Bring a Trailer is one of them that I looked up. Bring a Trailer is 800 cars for sale. They charge a 5% commission or a minimum of $250 and a maximum of $5,000 on the high-end cars. It's 800 cars, which is a tremendous amount. Does Earl have any comment about them? Also, drivetrain, that you make the terms, it sounds like nonsense, and it says it doesn't hurt your credit scores. Carvana lately has been advertising like crazy. Sell your car to Carvana. They make it look like a stock market. Oh, the price is this. Bingo, I'll make a hit on that and I'll sell it. I mean, some of it actually, with advertising, can drive you crazy. But I just want to ask Earl what his opinion is on this Bring a Trailer. Is that a tremendous website?
I'm not familiar with it. Which one is it now?
Bring a Trailer is called. At 800 cars for sale.
Yeah.
It's on the internet, and it's 5% commission or a $250 minimum and a $5,000 maximum.
I'll check it out. I really appreciate that. As far as drive time, it's funny you should mention that because I was discussing that at my last management meeting, and the information that we have from our people that deal with the used car part of the business, that is they're kind of a struggling company. They don't buy cars at good prices, and my guess is that, because you're right about the commercial. I saw the same commercial you did. It says buy a car online. All you have to do is agree to a price. The price that you agree to online is the price you pay when you go to the dealership. We had intended to shop them, John, and we will shop them. I asked my wholesale used car manager, his name is Ted Kaboosh, I said, shop them for me and see what happens. So you're right on. It's just a totally misleading ad, a lie. I can almost promise you, without the mystery shop, that they are not going to agree to a deal online and then have them give you that out-the-door price when you go to pick it up. They're going to hit you with the dealer install accessories. They're going to hit you with the junk fees and the addendums and all the other garbage. But it was such an audacious, bold ad, and it got my attention because I said, boy, I even thought it's a good advertisement because that's the way we deal. The price that we advertise is the price you pay. It's the out-the-door price. And it was such a good ad, I suggested to my managers of the meeting, maybe we should copy the ad and come up with something that gets people's attention. Got my attention. So we'll have a mystery shop on drive time and we'll report back next week.
Okay, well, thanks for that information. One fast thing I won't hold you, as far as dealer shopping, I would love to see, because it's not that far away, Sebring, Florida. All the dealers up there, they're organized. One family owns every one of the car dealerships. So I think in the future we consider going to Sebring, which is like the center part of Florida, and do a dealer shop in that town.
What's that dealer's name, John?
I don't know the name, but it's all owned by one. It's this town of Sebring.
The reason I asked is that I've met the guy, and it's very unusual. He has all the dealerships in Sebring. He was the Florida Time Magazine Dealer of the Year. About Florida Automobile Dealers Association voted him as the Dealer of the Year, and you're right. When one guy owns all the stores in one market, you better be careful. So we'll check that out. We might even do a mystery shop over there.
Thank you. He must be doing something right to own all of them.
Exactly, John. And the person you're talking about, I believe, is Alan J.
That's the guy.
That's it.
And
That's the one.
my sister lives over there in Sebring, and she talks about him a lot. You know, you can find all these dealers. It's almost like as if you've gone to Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, where you see them all lined up and all owned by Alan J.
Okay, we'll do it in the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
John, thanks for being part of the show and always filling us with new information. 877-960-9960. Ladies, you still have time to give us a call. First two new lady callers, you win yourself $50. 877-960-9960. Don't forget to text us at 772-497-6530. Now back to, I believe, Stu.
I think we could jump over to Rick and
Okay.
YouTube.
I've got a couple interesting ones here. The first one here and these are actually both going to come from Donovan. First one is, Florida lawmakers are at it again. They want to add a $200 registration fee for electric vehicles, $50 for hybrids, and $25 for electric motorcycles. These fees would go up in 2029 by $50 each. It's not that EV owners are against a fee for infrastructure. It's the amount of the fee that is almost double what an average person would pay in state gasoline tax. Plus, EV owners are already paying taxes on the electricity that they use at home and their public chargers. So therefore, this becomes double taxation. The bill sponsor is Bill sponsor Ed Hooper of Clearwater, and he needs to be made aware of this, that it's not such a good idea.
Well, I agree. And of course, all taxes, it's... we could do a show on that, but I agree with you. It's the people don't study the issue; they get emotional. Electric vehicles are it's like being a Republican or a Democrat. Either you hate electric vehicles or you love electric vehicles, and then you get irrational to make your point on both sides of the issue. So the people that hate electric vehicles think we should tax them to death. And the people that love electric vehicles don't think you should, and there's no logic on either argument, to be honest with you. The only I have an opinion on taxes. If our politicians didn't spend money recklessly the way they did, I wouldn't have a problem with taxes. But every time I see tax and a decreased tax, I think about where they're spending the money and how they're spending the money and why they're spending the money.
Yeah, why are they doing the tax?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not just it's the money, but there's other reasons there.
Yeah.
Okay, and he goes on to say here, a properly designed EV weighs about the same as a comparable ICE vehicle. A Tesla Model 3 and Tesla Model Y, for example, weigh the same or less than a BMW 3 Series or X3. Most EVs today are ICE platforms that they shoved a giant battery in, which is not a great way to design it. It causes it to weigh a lot more, which I can understand that if you simply swap out a normal internal combustion driveline for the electric battery, yeah, you're not designing it in a manner efficient for the vehicle. He says a Hyundai Ioniq 5, which is a decided dedicated EV platform, weighs 3,968 pounds, whereas the Mustang Mach-E, which is a modified internal combustion platform, weighs over 500 pounds more.
Yeah, well, you can cite specific cars and models, but the fact of the matter is, there was a survey, a study done, and the average electric vehicle weighs 1/3 more than the average combustion engine car. So the point was made about parking garages, but I'm sure there are a lot of electric vehicle models that weigh less than another model that's a combustion engine car. But when the time comes we're all EV in 30 years or 20 years or whatever it may be, we're going to have some problems with our garages.
How much do you, that Sequoia I'm driving, do you think it weighs as much as Earl's Tesla? Probably more.
I would say your Sequoia is a lot more.
It's big.
Sequoia's a heavy-duty vehicle.
Yeah, it's a heavy vehicle.
There's a lot of stuff
Very.
in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one other quick one here. This is for Deborah Cook. Question here, she says, Rick, what would cause one of my key fobs to not set my comfort settings? It still opens the door, but it won't adjust my preset comfort settings. And this is on a 2020 Acura MDX. Deborah, the key fobs may actually be connected to your comfort settings by basically being named. So in the customizable features, you may need to go to the dealer to have them check this. But one key fob, say, is going to be fob number 1. And when you connect those comfort settings to fob number 1, if you use number 2, it doesn't know that you're asking, it thinks that that's a second driver. So you would need to set those comfort settings and basically pair them to the other key fob, just like if you're using your smartphone and it would recognize that your phone, you want these settings, versus, say, your husband's phone would want to have a different set of settings. So if you want them all set together, you need to check with the dealership, and they should be able to adjust that for you. I mean, these cars are getting so sophisticated now that they know who's going to drive it before you even get to the car.
Well, what's the point? Technology, when you buy something today, the technology is so advanced that there are fewer people that can tell you how to get it fixed. And I was talking before the show started, I've got one of these new sunglasses, the joint venture by Ray-Ban and Facebook, and I think, so it's called Meta Glasses. And it's a technological marvel. It'll text, it'll video, it'll take pictures. I could put my glasses on. In fact, I got them right here. So if I put my glasses on right here, these are my Meta glasses.
You should put them on.
And
they look good.
Yeah.
They do. They look real good.
And there are problems with them, and the technology is incredible, and there's no one out there that can answer me questions. So it applies to all the new cars today. Hopefully guys like Rick can stay up with the technology. I don't envy anybody that's charged with being responsible for fixing a car today. The engineers and the scientists building these cars are going crazy. And I'll give you an example with my Tesla. They can't even fix my windshield washer in my Tesla. God knows how they got that thing configured, and they're with some sort of a computer software issue. But my windshield washer, not my wiper, my windshield washers, they had a technician come out and theoretically they replaced the motor, the whole motor, and the thing is still not working. So now they want me to take it in, and I don't want to take it in. Nancy hoses the windshield down for me.
Yeah.
And
it's been a full-time job.
So it's
and you're talking about replacements, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And I believe that I'm going to have my arm replaced.
Yeah.
So we'll have to find someone else to do that. But the car's in pretty good condition.
Yeah.
It's in great condition. We're going to go back to the phones. If you didn't jot that number down, 877-960-9960. And ladies, you still have time to give us a call. $50 for the first 2 new lady callers. And remember, jot down the text number because you're going to need it later. when we do the mystery shopping report, and we went back to Fort Pierce, and you want to stay tuned for that. That's for sure. The number, 772-497-6530. We're going to go to Bob, who is calling us from Lake Worth, I believe. Good morning, Bob.
Hey, good morning. I kind of have a general question. That was this summer when I was back up north. I went to a car show, saw a car that I liked, and went online, was tracking to see where I could find one. It was a Honda Passport, and they're kind of hard to find. So I had searched, found one. I liked the price, the mileage, the color, everything. Called the dealer to make an appointment with the salesperson. And have a good credit score of 820. What would you say the time to complete the deal would be on that?
What was the last part of the question?
What would be the time that it should take from the time I walked in the door with the appointment till the time I walked out with the car?
Well,
I wasn't attempting to negotiate price or anything like that.
Yeah, the dealers are famous for keeping you around forever. There's an old sales philosophy that the longer you work the customer, the more his resistance drops, and the more likely you are to sell him the car and make a lot of money. So the old style car dealing was to keep him wear him down, and finally, out of desperation, they sign here and go home. And don't realize what a mistake they made until the following day. But I don't know. How long do they keep you in there?
5.5 hours.
Oh, man. It sounds to me, you must have a lot of stamina.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I traveled out of town to get there. So it wasn't like I could go home and come back the next day.
Yeah, right. Well, they probably didn't have that many customers. And you were the one that they were going to work, and they probably. How many people did you talk to besides the salesperson? Did managers get involved?
No. It was just the salesperson and the finance manager.
Wow. Well, that's hard to believe. Yeah, the enlightened dealers realize that's not the way to go, and there's a push from the manufacturers and the enlightened dealers, so to speak, that the way to have customers come to your door is know that they can get in and out in a reasonable amount of time. It should be certainly no more than an hour to 2 hours, even if you buy the car. And I think an hour would make far more sense. This adds fuel to my argument about don't go to the dealership, do it all online. And I know that doesn't apply to some people don't like to deal online. Some people are not educated. I don't mean the word educated. They're not familiar or comfortable online. But if you are comfortable and you know how to work your smartphone and your computer, you never have to walk into a car dealership. You can do everything. You can buy the vehicle, you can finance the vehicle, you can sign the paperwork, you can do everything online and have the car delivered. This is what Amazon will be doing when they start selling Hyundais and Kias in January next month. So. I feel sorry for guys like you, Bob, that get that marathon work over, and you got to be strong and tough to deal with it. But a lot of people aren't strong and tough like you. They cave in a shorter period of time and pay too much money for the car.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome, Bob. Have a great weekend. We're going to go to Kelly, who's calling us from Jupiter. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning. Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Great. Kelly, have you called before?
No, I have not.
Okay. This morning you win yourself $50, and if you stay on the line when we're finished speaking, you can talk to our control room, and that's Mike that's over there. He'll get your contact information, and he'll pass it along to me, and I'll write you a check for $50 for calling Earl on Cars for the first time.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I just recently found out about you from a friend in Jupiter Farms. and his name is Frank.
I
and
bet
he
we
was
know
so
who
kind.
he is.
We know Frank.
I think everybody knows Frank. He's a great guy.
He is.
He is, definitely.
And I just wanted to let you know, because I am so grateful to you all. I have a Toyota Avalon. Unfortunately, I
beautiful.
did not. Yes, unfortunately, I did not purchase it from you, but I have always had it serviced for you. The car is a 2006, and it runs beautifully.
It
And
is
my
a
service
fantastic
manager-
car, Kelly. I have one.
It is. I love it, and I'm so sorry that they're not making them anymore.
I know.
They are not.
No, but my service manager is Josh. He takes such excellent care of me. And in the past, when I first moved to Florida, I would take my car to dealerships with maybe like an alternator problem, and they would fix it, and then they would tell me, oh, and your air conditioner's broke or something else, and there was never any problem with it. And I had this everywhere I went. And I had a friend at the time, and she told me about your dealership, and she said, Kelly, that's where you need to buy your cars, and that's where you need to have them serviced. Even if you don't have a Toyota, they'll service your car. And she said, you can trust them, and they're wonderful for women. And I've never had the chance to speak to Earl. When I've been in there, I've seen him, moseying around and things like that. He's wonderful, very approachable, but everybody was always going up to him.
Well, Kelly,
So I never wanted.
Kelly, when you get the $50, don't tell him you did it because you did a commercial for us on the show. Tell him you did it because you were the first-time female caller.
Right.
Oh my gosh! Thank you.
And Kelly,
not
Kelly,
a commercial. It's just my gratitude.
absolutely. Kelly, every once in a while I just don't even talk about my Avalon. And I drive the Tesla most of the time, but I've hung on to my Avalon for security reasons. And it's a great car. You have a beautiful car.
It is, and it's so funny you said you hung on to it because that has always been in the back of my mind. Even if I get another car, I'm hanging on to this car because I love it so much.
Yeah, it's definitely, something you can rely on.
It is, yes,
Kelly?
absolutely, and I feel safe in it. Yes.
Thank you so much for the phone call. We appreciate it. And as I said, as a first-time caller, stay on the line, talk to Mike in the studio, and remember, give him your contact information as to where I can send that check.
Thank you so very, very much.
You're
That is
welcome.
so incredibly kind.
Spread the
Thanks,
word,
and
Kelly.
Have a great day.
Say hi to Frank.
And you're helping us build a platform here for the ladies. Thank you. 877-960-9960, and you can text us at 772-497-6530. Okay, guys, what do you have?
Well, not much, but here's a question. Good morning. If a 2024 vehicle a person wanted is at a different dealership in your area, are you able to swap with them? Thanks. Well, that's called a dealer trade, and that's how dealers do exchange inventory with each other. You can do it for vehicles when they're en route, and you can change the destinations, or you can actually drive the vehicles or transport them with a truck between different dealerships. Now, I will say that went away with the inventory crunch after the post-pandemic, to where that was virtually a extinct way of doing business with other dealers, because cars were gone and they were just, people scrambled to have any car on their lot, and people just didn't want to mess with that, so that kind of went away. It's coming back now some, slowly, but there's never, in the old days you could give 2 for 1 or just send a one-way trade, but now if that's going to happen, you both better have cars that you really, really want.
Can I tell an old story? You just reminded me something. One of my favorite stories. You were talking about trading cars back and forth, and very common, as Stu said, except for the past couple of years with the COVID thing going on. But yeah, about half the cars a dealer sells, he usually sells from another car dealer's inventory. The only thing that competing dealers do that helps each other is trade cars back and forth, because if that didn't happen, there's such a huge amount of different permutations and combinations of colors, equipment, and models, you couldn't possibly have enough cars in normal times to sell cars competitively. So all the Honda dealers, all the Toyota dealers, all the Ford dealers, they cooperate. It's about the only way they do cooperate because they're vicious competitors, but they swap cars back and forth. Well, going back when Earl Stewart Toyota first became enlightened and we stopped charging dealer fees and junk fees and things like that, all the Toyota dealers in South Florida got together and refused to deal or trade cars with my dealership. And I had to call an attorney, and the attorney got me in touch with the attorney in New York, one of the leading antitrust attorneys. But I went to Toyota, and they said they couldn't help me, and I tried to reason with the dealers. So basically, they were trying to put me out of business. Long story short,
we won.
The dealer in New York wrote a letter to Toyota and to all the Toyota dealers in South Florida and said, what you're doing is a violation of federal law, restraint of trade, punishable by fine and imprisonment or imprisonment. So suddenly they all started dealer trading with me again, and now we still go back and forth.
We're all friends now.
Right. That's what I let an old guy tell a war story ever done.
No, it was a serious war story because it really did shut down our new car department for a period of weeks. It really crippled us. And wow, it's amazing what collusion can do.
And what an attorney can do. A good attorney can do some amazing things.
Right. I'm all caught up. I have no new communications.
Here's just a warning. We talk electric vehicles and we talk prices, and we've had Tesla slashing prices of their Teslas, and there is becoming real competition. You've got the great credits, the special credits on electric vehicles in effect now. So what's happened is people are starting to buy electric vehicles because it's a real bargain. I caution you with one thing. The electric vehicles that are traded in have dropped precipitously in price, largely because of price cutting and competition, and also because of the fact that only a small percentage of the buying public buys electric vehicles. So if a car dealer has electric vehicles in their used car inventory, they've depreciated 30 or 40% more than the combustion engine cars. That means that when you trade your electric vehicle in, if you're an electric vehicle aficionado, be prepared to get nothing, slight exaggeration there, but very little for a trade-in allowance. So when you're buying your new electric vehicle, keep in mind that when you go to trade it in, it's likely that might be the same case when you go to trade it in. So the depreciation of the vehicle you're buying is something to put into the cost calculation when you say electric vehicles are affordable or maybe equal to combustion engine cars. Ain't necessarily so. It's still a combustion car market if you look at the full picture in terms of price.
Yeah, that's great information. I think we should do a different type of show where Earl shares all of his past stories.
We have a special.
And I'm not going to say old stories. I'm not going to mention old because Earl will be 83 years old on Monday, and you would never, ever know it. So I would call it Earl's wise stories, very wise stories. And I'll elaborate on that later. We're going to go to Donna, who has been holding in Fort Lauderdale. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning.
Donna, have you called before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, great. Not only is this the last call of the show this morning because we have to get to some other things, but you have won yourself as a first-time caller $50. And if you stay on the line, you can talk to Mike. He's over in the studio, the control room, and you can give him your contact information, and I'll write out a check for you and get it out to you for $50.
Wow, that's wonderful, especially this time of year.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Donna, what can we do for you this morning?
Well, I have a problem. I have a 2015 Ford Explorer, and my brakes when I apply them and I'm slowing down, coming to a stoplight or a stop sign, they'll slow down, and then all of a sudden it'll do like a little freewheel. If you understand what I mean, where it's gliding, and where I mean, it doesn't speed up or anything, but it's like the brakes quit or whatever, and then it'll catch again. I keep the brakes on, and then it'll stop it. But it like freewheels before it actually stops. Does that make sense?
It's scary. I hope Rick has an idea.
It is scary. It is scary.
Now, is this under like light braking or kind of moderate to medium hard braking?
No, it's light braking. It is light braking because I start braking before I very seldom ever have to jam on the brakes.
Okay, and by any chance, is this a hybrid?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What I think you're experiencing is when you're stepping on the brake, initially the brakes themselves, the hydraulic brakes, are not being applied. What's happening is the computer reverses the electric motors into generators, and you're getting what's called electromotive drag to slow the car down. And that's the regenerative braking. It uses that force to slow the car and create a much greater amount of electricity to help recharge the batteries. What's probably happening here is that right when it does that freewheel point, the regenerative braking may be stopping for a moment, and it's for some reason there's a bit of a lag before your hydraulic brakes are actually kicking in for that last little part of the light braking. I would definitely be having this checked out by a qualified mechanic, someone that knows the Ford system, and describe to them exactly what you're feeling. Take them for a drive and show them, that it's under the light braking, and it may just be that this regenerative braking is not, shall we say, not continuing right up to the point when the hydraulic brakes are actually being applied and kicking in.
But the key is, as Rick said, I'll repeat it, is go for a test drive with the technician that will be working on your car and simulate the exact thing that happened. Say, now, did you feel that? And be sure he says yes, because once they experience themselves, he'll be able to say, well, there's nothing we can do. That's normal. I know what it is. We can fix it. And then the next question is, how much are you going to charge me?
Right. Yeah, and it doesn't do it all the time.
Yeah, well, that makes it even more difficult. Yeah, I would, anything affecting the brakes, you really need to give it priority attention, because you never know when that is going to create a real problem. So I would, with the diagnostic tools, they might be able to check and see what's there's a glitch. Even if you can't, you should try. If it's one of those times where it won't perform for you and the technician, just have them get an estimate of what the diagnosis is going to be, and if you maybe get another estimate from another dealer. You probably should be going to a Cadillac dealer. Ford dealer.
Ford Explorer.
You should be going to a Ford dealer, and maybe go to another Ford dealer if the diagnostic charges are fair. A typical diagnostic charge would be what, $75, $100?
Yeah.
Yeah.
$200. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Good to know. Yeah, it does have me concerned because it's scary. It is scary.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely, I would look into it as quickly as I possibly could, because, as you said, a dangerous situation.
Right.
Okay, Donna.
Go ahead.
You have one more question?
No, I thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, Donna. Remember that contact information. That's the only way I can get that check to you. And please, Donna, spread the word to your lady friends that we're building a platform here for the ladies. They have become a very important part of Earl on Cars.
Right. I love that.
I'm so glad you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll definitely pass it on, and I thank you so much.
You're welcome, Don. I hope to hear from you soon and your report on your situation.
Okay. Alrighty, super.
Have a
Thank
great
you so
weekend.
much.
Okay, I think that we're running a little short on time, first of all. And Rick, we didn't do too much with you. Okay, we're going to go to the recovering car dealer.
Okay, Mr. Shop. Mr. Shop of Beth Smith Kia.
Let me mention one more time that it's real important for you to jot this number down, 772. Let me see if I can, 772-497-6530. Every once in a while I forget that number. It's important because that's the way you're going to vote. You're going to vote on the mystery shopping report that we did again in Fort Pierce.
Can also vote on YouTube.
There you go. And FaceTime, everything, where you have all kind of options. Now back to the recovering car dealer.
So Beth Smith Kia in Fort Pierce, if you're not from the Florida area, that's in southern Florida, but it's a little far north. It's kind of like on the fringe of the Sodom and Gomorrah era, although I must say that Frank Hernandez, the owner up there, does a good job of being rough and tumble like some of the real South Florida, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale dealers. Beth Smith Kia, Fort Pierce, Florida. Speaking in the first person as if I were Agent Lightning, our amazing undercover agent that goes in every week and visits a car dealership in South Florida or Pennsylvania or Tennessee. She gets around.
Yeah, she's all over the place.
I arrived late afternoon and was greeted by a salesman who was congregating out front with several others. This is, we call them the wolf pack. And you can almost spot a rough and tough dealership when they have a gang of salespeople out there smoking cigarettes and with their sleeves rolled up. And that's something called the up system. And the person that's supposed to get the next customer runs out and greets you. And so that's what happened at Beth Smith Kia in Fort Pierce. The wolf pack was out front. One salesman jumped out. He welcomed me, asked if there was anything he could help me find today. I said, I've been looking for a new Telluride for a while now, but between having a hard time finding one and the ridiculous markups, I haven't pulled the trigger yet. He introduced himself as Roy, asked my name, all while telling me it's his birthday month. He was very friendly. We went to a table where he gathered some information from me, which he wrote on a sheet of paper. Also had a credit application that I noticed. He asked me for my license. As I was pulling it out, I stopped and said, I don't want my credit run, just seeing if the Tellurides have come down in price and we might be able to get one. He smiled and said, of course not. I'm not going to run your credit. Assured me that he'd need my social security number anyway if he was going to do that. He then went through a series of questions to determine the best model for me, inquiring if I wanted a sunroof and about my preferences for interior and exterior colors. I made a note to myself in the margin of the mystery shopping report that Stu wrote up very well, by the way. And that is, don't ever go into a car dealership like Agent Lightning, or in this case, I'm Agent Lightning, not knowing exactly what you want. See, when the salesperson is able to control the MSRP, control the model, the options, color, equipment, the combination of factors, when you don't have a specific vehicle in mind, it opens the door for shenanigans, monkey business, whatever you want to call it. They have the advantage of you not knowing the basis, the goal that you set for your pricing. They can manipulate so many things that will vary the price that they're in control at that point. Roy explained, now let me tell you how this is going to work. I need you to trust me. I had to laugh at that. I mean, that's the old joke, right? Trust me. I mean, you know. I'm going to take this info sheet over there to that desk, and they'll help me find the car that's best for you. Do you have a color preference? So this is a real old school. It's the I'm on your side, and it's you and me against them. And I'm
Triangulation.
you trust me. We're partners. and we're going to go after the mean old guy over there at the desk, and between you and me, we're going to win and get you a real low price. So that's real old school. I responded, I responded, I like that white one on the floor there. That's a Telluride that I like color-wise. He replied, okay, I'll be right back, and we'll go for a test drive. I waited there for a few minutes and then decided to walk outside, wait for him. He pulled up a dark gray car for me to drive. He jumped out and said that he's butterflying it so I could check everything out. Haven't heard that expression. And go over all the features with me. It was a new 2024 Kia Telluride SX white with an MSRP of $48,910. There was a Bev Smith addendum label. Okay, there we are. Boom. No surprise. Addendum label. They wanted another $4,995 for front and rear mud guards, carpet mats, nitro-filled tires, pinstripes, a tag bracket. That's gutsy. A cleanup before delivery. Maybe they're going to actually wash the car and charge me for it. I'm buying the car. They're going to wash it. The first oil change, which is probably free from.
They get reimbursed for that, probably.
Yeah, they're either reimbursed or there's no charge. Window tint, pocket guards, storage guards. I mean, this is really Best Smith Ford ought to be in Miami. I mean, that's really the Sodom and Gomorrah of car dealership. But this is really rough stuff, tough stuff. Rough stuff, tough. It's hard to say 3 times fast. He was very familiar with this brand and quite enthusiastic. He was going a little overboard, so I said, I've been researching for quite some time now, and I'm very comfortable with the Telluride. I said, I've been looking and not buying at them since they had upwards of $8,000 to $10,000 in market adjustments. He said, yeah, most places are higher than what we are right now. They all say that, right? I mean, what are they going to say? Oh, we're higher than that. No, they're going to claim that the competition's higher, all right? I jumped in the driver's seat. We went for a short test drive due to low gas. That's not very professional. Happens a lot, though. Once again, back at the dealership, we headed back inside to a different desk. I let Roy know that as much as I wanted a Telluride, I refused to pay almost $5,000 above the window sticker. You ain't seen nothing yet. That's me. That's not the salesman. He asked me how much I would be putting down. I said $5,000 to $10,000. He leaned. Oh, this is good too. I like this drama. He leaned in. And he says, I'm only going to put $5,000 to $7,000 down. Trust me. I mean, come on.
This is not good.
You and me against him. We're going to go get that mean old wolf over there, and we're going to trick him into giving you a lower price. This is so amateurish. I guess it works in Fort Pierce. I don't know. I mean, he's been there for a while. As far as I know, he sells a lot of cars.
I'm going to interrupt you. Was this guy's name Helen Reddy?
No, Frank Hernandez.
You know the you and me against the world kind of a deal.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. His name is Roy. Yeah. Okay.
A few minutes later, he returned with a worksheet that had my cash transaction as well as some finance options I wasn't really interested in. The top line labeled selling price was $55,905, which was about $7,000 over MSRP. Then they had $895.
There's more?
Pre-delivery. That's a junk fee. They added sales tax and tag. Now we're up to $8,000 over MSRP. And the guy just said, oh yeah, all the other dealers are higher than that. Well, I can tell you they're not. He asked what I thought. I said, I'm not budging on the markup. I know my husband will agree. He said he understands and leaned in again, saying in a low voice, listen close. This is how it's going to work. I know you can get this car much closer to MSRP. My manager's going to come over and talk to you before you leave. Okay, so the team is there to fool the mean old wolf that's going to come and take advantage of us. Manager came over and asked if I was going to buy now. No, I have to talk to my husband, I replied. Can we call him? Yes. No, he's in a meeting, and besides, neither one of us is going to buy a car overpriced by $5,000. He said it without looking the least bit embarrassed that they have to make money. A straight face. He's charging $7,000 over sticker. And I object, and he says, hey, listen, babe, we got to make money.
I like your response there.
Yeah, I mean, that's Napleton. That's Napleton.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's worse than Napleton. I mean,
They're polite in Napleton.
yeah, Napleton does that, but they don't have salespeople and managers that throw it in your face. So I retorted, well, isn't that, oh yeah, he just said that I got to make money when I sell the car at $7,000 over MSRP. And then Agent Lightning came back and said, well, isn't that what you do when you sell a car at MSRP?
Yes.
He didn't say anything and walked away quite rudely. Or he said, hold on a minute, Mr. Carlos is on the job. I don't know who Mr. Carlos is.
Okay, this is in every car dealership, there's a nice sales manager and there's a tough sales manager. Nice sales manager is Mr. Carlos. All the salespeople want to go to him because he puts the deals together and he's not as hard as the other guy. So he wants to see Mr. Carlos to make it happen.
Not Frank Carlos or Juan Carlos, but Mr. Carlos working as manager. Okay, I waited. I was getting antsy, so I got up and found Roy. I told him I needed to get going to pick up my kids. Just then, another sales manager named Shane. Shane came over and asked if I was ready to do business. With you putting $10,000 down, I'll sell it to you at MSRP, no markup. You have my word, he said.
Done.
And of course, his word is his bond, and you know.
They spit in their hands and shook.
I say, only if you give me a pinky promise. If we do a pinky promise, I'll believe you. Right. I replied, can you do a worksheet saying that, or put it in writing so that my husband will believe me and will come back here? He said that if I gave him a minute, he could sign the paper saying he'll do it at MSRP. Now, I wish Agent Lightning had stayed for that paper. Anyway, I didn't stay. I laughed at him and asked, what time are you here until today? Roy, the salesman, replied, we're here till 8 p.m. tonight. I said, no. What time is Shane personally here tonight so that I can make sure I get the deal at MSRP? If we decide to move forward, Shane said, I'm here as well until 8 p.m. You come back and I will sell it to you at MSRP, I promise. I was there long enough, so I thank him. Well,
I believe him.
Well, you know, let me tell you something. It's possible.
Yeah, of course it is.
It's possible. So, well, I could say so much about this. We run out of time, so I'll shut up. We need you to vote, and we need you to vote using the curve. And I know you're tired, your regular listeners are tired of hearing this, but the curve is if they are the best dealer in the area, or this area, then you give them a high grade. If they're the terrible dealer in the dealers that we deal with, you give them a very low grade. So there are no perfect dealers, and I hesitate to say there are no absolutely terrible dealers. There are, but they really got to be terrible to get an F. So understand the curve, vote, and we will see how Bev Smith Kia in Fort Pierce fares.
Start your texts and coming in.
We got
772-497-6530. Also, YouTube.
Yeah, Bob's all over it. He says, I want you to trust me on getting a grade from you. It's an F. It's the only grade I have. So thinking about this in terms of the curve, I would say they're average in terms of South Florida. But then it's not just the addendum and the equipment. It's the overall experience, and having the high pressure and rudeness from a sales manager. It doesn't rise to a C. I think that's worse than a lot of the South Florida dealerships that we've seen.
It does. Yeah.
I don't want to fail them, but I want to give them a D. And I got another F, by the way. It says trust this F. Who is this from? Well, move on. I'm sure Rick's got some very entertaining grades over there.
Well, we'll start off with T. Cash, who says, I disagree on wolf packs. Wolves are a noble beast. They're more like a pack of hyenas.
Yeah, that's very well said. Very well said.
And he says, my score is BS&S for Bev Smith sucks.
Ooh.
Joseph Kelleher, just a simple F.
Yeah.
Tom Steckel, F. This is a Napleton disciple. Haven't found an ethical Kia dealer in Florida. Central Florida Hyundai is an alternative and owned by Mullinax. Kirk in West by God, Virginia, says Bev Smith Fort Pierce Kia, addendum with nitro, mud flaps, and guarded guards. I guardedly award you a solid F-.
Man, maybe we should have bought those Kia dealerships in Jacksonville and just like give a little hope to the world.
Yeah.
Guy Larrabee says Bev Smith gets a big fat F because of the addendum and their sales methods.
Yeah.
Johnny Z. Fradley, whoa, doggy. Shenanigans galore. Trust me, F.
You know what occurred to me with Amazon going Hyundai and Kia? Can you imagine? Would you rather buy a Kia on Amazon or from Bev Smith Kia? I mean,
yeah, I think that's a pretty
Amazon all the
tough
way
question there. By the way, Anne-Marie jumped in. She says, this is all routine, not illegal, but deserves a D. And she wants to remind everybody, please comment to the FTC. It is posted on Earl on Cars. The link's right there. So if you need to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's already did that.
Well, you work fast.
I did it from here. And then we have another text, capitalism at its best. I give them a B. And that was from Frank Gonzalez in Fort Pierce, Florida. Just kidding.
And for me personally,
did you say there really was a B?
It says capitalism at its best. I give them a B.
Oh, wow. Man, oh, man.
Yeah.
That's one way to look at it.
I got a bunch more just came in.
That's capitalism at its worst.
Worse for Agent Lightning.
Okay, where are we?
We got a bunch more just came in. Cliff's picks, I would say a G for greed. Mark Anderson, what a joke. Grade F. All the amateur tactics, I wouldn't buy a Teletubby from them. Tim Gilliland, throw out the addendum and markups and we can talk. A big fat D. Is nitrofill still a thing there?
Yes, it is.
Would love to have seen the worksheet. Pop Hartley says, I can't believe their tactics. My grade is a D. Ernesto Ortega, F. Brian Sedlatko, ridiculous. Come on, Roy, F. Me personally, I'm going to say D minus. They're almost at the bottom level on that curve, but
yeah.
I think we've seen worse around the area.
I hear you. What say you, Nancy?
Well, I was going to save my vote for last, but I will vote right now. And you know, of course, or maybe you don't, that we shopped Sunrise Ford in Fort Pierce. And today is Bev Smith Kia in Fort Pierce. So I ask, is there something in the water in Fort Pierce? Because I truly found if you listened to last week's show, the mystery shop I found very condescending. I found it rude. I just found it patronizing. And this is the attitude that I pick up in the Bev Smith Kia Fort Pierce Mystery Shopping Report. And I know, without even asking Agent Lightning, she would feel the exact same way. You know, they want to make you feel like an inferior idiot. And, you know, that's no way to sell cars, that's for sure. And treat men and women the same. I give Fort Pierce, Bev Smith Kia, I give them an F.
You know, people that listen to the show know that I hardly ever give an F. I'm gonna fail it. I don't. I think that not only are they rough and tough, but they're also they're not even smooth. I mean, they match the deception of the Miami Fort Lauderdale dealers, but they do it in a very crude and aggressive manner, old school. And I agree with Nancy's comment is that they insult your intelligence. And I think, and what that in the same breath, that means that they take advantage of a lot of people that are not educated and haven't bought cars before. Because anybody that buys a car from Beth Smith Kia and goes for that BS is going to get really screwed bad. So, and those people can't afford to get screwed bad.
Not at all.
I think we're out of time.
We are. We have 2 minutes left. And, I just want to mention in the automotive news that, listen to this, as far as women in the car industry, especially F&I. Women make honest, organized, and skilled finance managers who boost profits for dealerships. Again, ladies, we're boosting profits all the way around. Listen. Thank you so much for tuning in to Earl Stewart on Cars. Tune in next week, same time, and we will be right here.